Speaking to Sky News, the chair of the International Institute for Strategic Studies Council, IISS, said a strike against Syria's rogue regime will be inevitable after French President Emmanuel Macron announced Syrian President Bashar al-Assad had crossed his red lines on the use of chemical weapons. Mr. Heisborg added a strike would be aimed at Syria's chemical weapons capability and will be conducted with the help of U.S. President Donald Trump. He said, "The position is very clear." Macron stated some months ago that the use of chemical weapons would be a red line which if crossed would entail a French military response. He stated earlier today that the red line had been crossed and therefore the assumption has to be that there will be a French military strike, probably conducted with the United States of America in fairly short order. Sky Getty World War III, France will conduct military strike against Syria with Donald Trump, warns Mr. Heisborg. President Macron has also indicated that the targets of the strikes would be related to the chemical weapons capabilities of the Syrian armed forces. It would be a surprise if there weren't a strike. U.S. President Donald Trump promised forceful action on Monday in response to a suspected Syrian poison gas attack that killed at least 60 people and injured more than 1,000 others. Reports suggested more than 500 people, mostly women and children, were taken to medical centers with difficulty breathing, foaming at the mouth and burning sensations in the eyes. The attack comes almost exactly a year after a chemical atrocity in the northern Syrian town of Khan Sheikhoun killed dozens of people. The red line has been crossed, so the assumption has to be that there will be a French military strike. Francois Heisborg breaking a self-imposed 48-hour silence to announce U.S. response to the alleged attack. Mr. Trump wrote on Twitter, "Russia vows to shoot down any and all missiles fired at Syria. Get ready, Russia, because they will be coming, nice and new and smart. You shouldn't be partners with a gas-killing animal who kills his people and enjoys it. Our relationship with Russia is worse now than it has ever been, and that includes the Cold War. There is no reason for this. Russia needs us to help with their economy, something that would be very easy to do, and we need all nations to work together. Stop the arms race." Prime Minister Theresa May held telephone conversations with the U.S. President and French President Emmanuel Macron and agreed the international community needed to respond to uphold the worldwide prohibition on the use of chemical weapons. A Downing Street spokeswoman said, "The Prime Minister held separate telephone conversations earlier today with Mr. Trump and Mr. Macron. They agreed that reports of a chemical weapons attack in Syria were utterly reprehensible and if confirmed, represented further evidence of the Assad regime's appalling cruelty against its own people and total disregard for its legal obligations not to use these weapons. They agreed that the international community needed to respond to uphold the worldwide prohibition on the use of chemical weapons. They agreed they would continue working closely together and with international partners to ensure that those responsible were held to account." Mr. Trump, backed by Britain and France, has proposed military action against the Syrian regime in response to the suspected chemical attack. Russia has been at odds with the U.S. after it warned against military action in Syria following the suspected chemical attack.